Hi everyone, Nessie here. So yesterday I uploaded the flip through of this envelope folio that I made, and I said I would do a create with me showing you how I made it. So I am going to do that now. You are going to have to bear with me because I'm not very good at these tutorial things. I'm very new to them, and last time I did them my video cut out after half an hour, so I'm going to try and keep it within half an hour. If it does cut out, then I'll upload it and then start a new video from where it cut off, and I'm sorry, it's the best I can do for you. So anyway, we have a scrap store where I live, and it's basically a big warehouse where companies donate a whole load of excess stock of things, and you go in and you fill a black bag for something like £7. And last time I was there, they had these envelopes. They're called Gusset envelopes, and I think it's because they have this section here like a gusset, and they're quite large. They're the A4 ones. I got them at the scrap store. I have never seen these before, although I would imagine most office supply stores would have them, as would, I would imagine, Amazon, eBay, places like that. I don't know how much they are because I haven't bought them. I got them in a scrap store. However, if you don't have envelopes like this with a fold, there's nothing stopping you from using just normal A4 brown envelopes. I don't have any A4 brown envelopes, but I do have the white ones with windows, and they are generally the same size. If you are using normal envelopes, you're going to have to readjust your measurements to match your envelope, obviously, but there's no reason why you couldn't use these. The paper is thinner on these though than it is on this, but because we're backing it with card, I don't think that would matter too much. So anyway, let's get started because I'm trying to keep it within half an hour. So we are going to make this. It's also going to be quite hard to keep it in the camera shot because it is quite large, but I will do my best to keep it in camera for you. So we're going to use two gusset envelopes. Don't actually think they are A4. I think they're a bit bigger. Well, yeah, they are a bit bigger than A4 because I mean that's my 12-inch ruler on it. See, 12 inches is there, so I'd say they're about 13 by 9. Now these envelopes have got score lines on the flap there, and basically that score line there is what I used as the spine to hold the journal on both of them. So we are basically going to take two envelopes, fold them on the score line, and then we are going to join them together. Kind of, it's a bit fiddly because they're so big, but we're basically going to join them together like that with the flaps, you see. So we're going to have one flap on the outside, and that flap we're going to tuck onto the inside. So the first thing we want to do with these envelopes is you've scored it on the flap, and that score line, if you are using envelopes that don't already have it, is at about 3/4 of an inch. Then we're going to get the scoreboard, and we are scoring the envelopes at, put the flap end in there, and then we're going to score at 7. I am absolutely rubbish at scoring. It's quite hard for me to keep it in the groove. I tend to slide all over the place. And at 7 1/4. So scoring at 7 and 7 1/4. Because it's a doubled envelope, I'm going to fold over and do that on the other side as well. 7, 7 1/4. And we're going to do that on both envelopes, and that gives us our spine for the flip outs. 7. If you're using another envelope, you're going to have to try and work out where you need your score lines, but basically when you want to fold it in half, when you come to folding it, you don't want this edge has to be in front of this edge. You don't want them lining up like that. You want a bit of a gap for the fold out. So 7 and 7 1/4. Just put that down. Then we're going to just fold on those score lines. I tend to finger fold it first, especially when you've got little score lines, and then I will burnish it. And then on the little one, it's a bit fiddly. And burnish it, and then that will give you your other little spine there, and it will fold out like so. So we're going to do that. We do that on both of them. So that's one. Here's the other one. And just finger fold it along that one first. And then on the other one. There we go. Now, to join the envelopes, this is our spine bit. This bit will be going inside here. Now, because that's going to be exposed on that inside flap, I covered that with a strip of tea-dyed paper, just because I didn't want, if you're going to use it as a pocket, I didn't want anything to just be catching on this. So, the sticky, so I just peeled that off, and I just covered it with a piece of tea-dyed paper. Just any strip will do. Trim the edges off. Don't really need to be honest. Now, I reinforced the centre strip with some, I think it's called Tevic. The Americans make envelopes out of it. It's kind of like, it's a paper that's got fibres in it, and it's really, really strong. I get mine off of Amazon. So these strips are 9 by 2, and pretty much I glued a strip on the bottom. So just a normal tacky glue I use. Joining the two together is actually quite fiddly because you've got to work under the flap. I hope you can see what I'm doing. It's actually easier that you've got the gussets on the side because you can open it up wider. So we're just going to slide that into there like so. Can you see? So that it covers the spine, and smooth that down, glue it into place. It's just for a reinforcement. Honestly, I don't know why I did this, because I then add fabric to the spines as well, and fabric on its own really is quite a good reinforcement, and I don't do it on these ones. I just did it on the middle one. I'm a bit obsessed with reinforcing things. I don't know. Oh. Okay. That's just about right for a camera at the moment, isn't it? Let me get a different glue pot. Oh, that is just so typical. Okay, I'll have to use this one. It's got a smaller nib on it though. Let me just get a piece of paper, because now I've got a huge blob of glue. Just spread that out with a bit of paper. These things always happen when you're on camera. That wasn't embarrassing much, was it? This is a finer nib one, but I tend to use this for smaller sticking down stuff, but it's all I have at hand now, so it will do. And again, this one, you just slide it in like we did with the other one. Can actually tuck it under the tea dyed paper if you want. Like I say, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to put fabric here, and in all honesty, you don't even have to put the Tevic there because we're going to put fabric there, and that's a good reinforcer on its own. So then we get both. Now this flap here is going to go inside here. What you want to do is fold your, just reinforce your folds again, because you kind of need them to guide where you're putting one inside the other. You can actually put little pencil marks on those folds if you want. Oh, that happens to be just on there, because we are going to cover them, and it can make it easier for lining up. We just reinforce these ones. Yeah, there and there. Right, so the tea dyed flap is going to go inside the other one. So I'm going to glue this section first. Hopefully that's in camera. And then you're just going to slide it in the same way you slide the Tevic in. But you want to line it up on this fold here, on these lines here. My pencil needs sharpening. So open it up, and you literally just slide it in to the folds. See, this is a lot easier when you're not doing it on camera, because I'm trying to keep it in line. But do you see how it kind of, you have to kind of get it to match up with that, so that when it folds together nicely. So you can practice it like that, and then when you've got it lined up, you just smooth it down inside. and then you should have it like that, so that it folds up like so. Then when you've got it like that, you can put some glue on this end, down the spine bit and along this flap. Now I suppose you could leave this just glue down the sides and use that as a pocket, but I didn't do that because there's so many pockets on this anyway. Peel that off because it's just extra sticky. Put some glue down the edge. And then you just stick that flap down. And that is the bases. That then makes the bases of the folio. Do you see? Now on this one I trimmed the edge off. I did do it on the main one. I forgot to show it in the video, but on the main actual tutorial, the main folio I did, sorry I knocked the camera, there are big end pockets here and again here, but you don't have to trim the end off, to be honest. You don't have to. I did on this one. This was not the envelope I was planning on using, but I trimmed a bit off anyway. And that's the bases. Now the next thing I want to do is do my fabrics, reinforce my fabrics. So what I've done is I've pre-cut my fabric. When I did my main one, I used a rotary cutter and sliced my finger on it. So these I marked and cut with the scissors. So what you need is 4 strips that measure 2 inches wide. So it's 2 inches by just a tad under 9. Just a little bit under 9, like a 1/16 under 9 inches down. And you need 4 of those. And then you need 2 bigger strips, which I've done at 3 across. So you've got 4 at 2 and 2 at 3 by just under 9 down. Now on this one I kind of used like a netting type fabric, but I didn't have any of that left. I was at my sister's when I made that, and that was all I had. For this one I've kind of used a it's almost like a suedette fabric, but I would recommend you use just cotton fabric, to be honest. It's a lot easier. This doesn't stick as well, but I've cut it, so I'm going to use it. So yeah, cotton fabric. So with this, we're just going to glue it in, basically. I'll start in the middle bit. And again, I'm just using the tacky glue. It seemed to work. Now, it doesn't matter if you get this perfect or not, because the ends are going to be covered. You're only going to really see the middle bit. It just gives it that added reinforcement, really, because of where you're going to be bending the envelopes a lot. So this, we're going to tuck it in the same way we tucked in the flaps. So I'll do one side first, hoping I'm in camera. It is a bit fiddly because fabric tends to have a mind of its own, but it doesn't, and it's messy, but it really doesn't matter. So you do the one side, then lift it and just tuck it in on the other side. You will have to do a bit of manoeuvring. It is a bit fiddly, can be messy, but it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, because this is all going to get covered in card. And smooth it down like so. Then ideally you would leave this to dry for quite a while before you bend it, again, because it can buckle the fabric if you don't let it dry. If it's still wet, you get like rippling. That's it. So we used the 3-inch pieces in the middle, and the 2-inch pieces are for the smaller spines. The smaller spines, and then you just put it over the center, and doesn't matter if it's dead straight, because like I keep saying over and over, it's going to get covered in card. So just smooth it down, make sure it's stuck that side. And then this is where it goes off camera. You need quite a long desk for this. I don't really have a long desk. And then that one will go here. So put some glue on the center. Like so. And smooth that one down. On there. And then we're just going to turn it over and do the same thing on the other side for the spines. So we're going to put our big piece over this bit. Checking I'm still recording, because it is getting to the half-hour mark. I'm so new to this. I don't know how you do videos, cut them, paste them together, or fast forward through things. I don't really know anything about video editing, so I do it all on my phone. So they're not very professional. I do apologise for that, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm quite new to this. Getting less nervous though, so I suppose that's something. And then on this side. Now when you've done this, like I say, I personally would leave it to dry for a bit before you start bending it again. But while it's drying, we can start doing our flip ups. Just add this last piece in. I always worry that these bits are boring in videos. I know a lot of people fast forward, speed through them, but like I say, I am not that tech savvy, I'm afraid. Right, so that bit goes on there. And those are your fabric reinforcements. Now while that is drying, what we would do now is cut our flap pieces. So in this one I had a flip up on this section and on this section. They're both the same size really. So you're going to need some brown card, and your flat pieces need to measure, well, I did mine by 5.5. I did mine 5.5 inches by 9.5 inches. So if I just put that to the side, I use just brown calf paper card, and just trim it down to this will be out of camera, I'm afraid, I think, but I'm sure you know how to cut your pieces. So I need, it's 5.5, you need 2 at 5.5 by 9.5. One. And so 9.5 by 9.5. And then for the envelope flip up that we have, that we put the little notebooks under, you need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 5. Now the long piece that you just sliced off should be exactly 2 3/4. So when you get this big bit, when you cut that down to 5.5, you're left with a strip of 2 3/4. That strip you just cut into 2 5-inch pieces. 1, 2. Then you're going to need your scoreboard again, and with your scoreboard, on the small ones that we cut out, so on the small cards, you are going to score 1/2 inch down the long side. So it's just 1/2 inch on the long side of the small ones. 1, 1/2 inch, 2, and on the big ones you're going to score 1/2 inch on the short side. 1, and 2. And then on the larger ones we are going to round the bottom corners, not the end you scored, but the other end, just round the corners. Like so. Now on the smaller ones, what we're going to do is on the top, where did I put my ruler? There it is. So on opposite the side you scored, so you scored here, up here, you're going to mark 1 inch in and 4 inches in. Do those on both pieces. 1 inch and 4 inches. Then we get our cutter. Now you want to line it up with your score, where you've marked it, pencil mark to the score line. So if you line your wire up So let me put a pencil line on the score line so you can see it. There's our score line, there's our mark, 1 inch mark. Line it up so that the wire is touching both marks. I don't know if you can see it, I hope you can, or I hope you can understand. And then you just cut that edge off, so you're left with that. Do you see? And then do the same on the other side. Just cutting that triangle off, like so. Do those on both of them. Show you again, pencil line and score line, just slice it off. Pencil line and score line, and slice it off. Now my corner rounder doesn't work on these kind of corners. I don't know if you can actually get corner rounders that work on slanted corners. So what I generally do with my small scissors, but they're not at hand, is just try and round them off myself a bit. Not perfect at it, but it doesn't matter if they're not perfect, because it's a junk journal, and that's the beauty of junk journals. Obviously you want to get a rubber and rub off these pencil lines as well. There, so you're left with 2 small ones and 2 larger ones. Now at this stage I would ink all of these, and I would also ink all of this around the edges. So I would ink all around there, around there, around there, up there, and on the other side I would ink it all. But how boring would it be to watch me ink all of that and all of these? So I did actually do one last night where I made the exact same thing, but I just inked it. So I've inked this, and I have inked my flap pieces as well. So now, and also this has had chance to dry, so once it's dry you can just then refold your lines, crease your lines in, just refold them and crease them in like that once your fabric's dry. Then we can glue in our flaps. So this is the cover, opening it. We're going to put a flap on this one. So this flap is going to go here. Now I need to do it at this angle. So pretty much, because we're not going to do a flap, so let me see, because we're not doing a flap on this side, only this side, but we're going to glue the whole gusset all the way down, so it will be shut on that side and that side. So what I do is I will put glue, I don't know if you can see it all the way, but I'm putting glue inside on the bottom of the gusset all the way to the edge, and then I will put glue on the top. It's not the, how would I explain it? So this flap is going to go in here, so it flaps down like that. So you want the glue on this side, just a strip of glue on that side. Now our flap's going to go in here, so we're going to line it up, not all the way to the fold, because you want it to oh, this is just not going my way. Right, so not all the way to the fold, because you want to be able to fold it down like so. So you're tucking it in the gusset, line it up, and then smooth it down so it grips it. Don't want it sticking out too far, obviously, but You don't want it all the way. And then you just smooth down this side as well, because we're not going to be putting anything in that gusset, so we want it shut. I don't know why they gusset. Like so. That way you've got your flip on that side. So there's our first flip on that side. Now, we're not putting anything along the bottom of this one, so we're also going to glue the bottom gusset shut, because you just don't want it flopping. So just put some glue inside the gusset all the way along, and glue it down. Then that way that's not going to keep coming open. You don't want that gaping. Glue it down, glue it closed. So that's the flip on this side. So it opens and there's your flip. Now on the other side I did the large flip on this end piece, and so your large flip is going to go here inside the gusset. If you don't have a gusset envelope, you could just glue it to the back, because you're going to cover it with card. So the big one's going to go there, and then we're going to put one of the little ones on this section here. See? Now again, I have to do it at this angle because that's the easiest way to do it for me. So what I'm going to do is, because this end is closed, it's easier to stick the big one in first and then stick the little one in, because the little one's more open. So with this one, I'm just going to put glue up to the halfway mark on the bottom and on this side. I don't even know if you can see that. Hold on. Okay, on this side of the flap we're going to put glue. So we've got glue just on the bottom at the halfway mark and on this side of the flap. And then this, we will start, look at how I'm shaking. That will go in just like the other one did. Line it up. Just line it up. Not right to the fold, because you want to be able to fold it over. Not right to the end. Leave a bit of a space between you and the end, and then smooth that down. And now this side, you can reopen it, put some glue on the rest of the bottom to the end, and on your little flap you want the glue on this bit. On that bit. Slide it in. Try to, I eyeball it, but try to get it kind of centre-ish. It's not really that matters that much, but you want it kind of centre-ish, don't you? Make sure you can fold it down. And smooth it. Now on the bottom of this side, we are going to add the other little flap to the bottom of this one. So it's going to go in here, like that, and nothing on that side. So again, see if I'm in camera, we are going to put glue all the way from one end. Let me lift that out of the way. All the way to the end of this gusset, because we want it, the whole gusset closed. And on the flap we're just going to put it on this side. Is that in? Can you see that? Just on that side we're going to put glue. And then we're going to line it up, so again that it's kind of centre-ish. You want it to kind of, I suppose I really should have measured it. Let me see, that one's about 2 centimetres in. So this one, let's do it, you want it about 2 centimetres in, so let's just move it over a little bit. It's about 2 centimetres. You can measure that and mark it. I'm just worrying about time now because I'm on about 45 minutes and I don't think it's cut out yet, so I think I'm doing well. And that's the bases. So we now have our folio. This will be our cover. You open it, first section with our first flip here. Second section, this will be our envelope flip up, and then the next flip up is here. Okay, I am actually going to stop it there, and what I will do is do another video showing you how I did, I'll do another video showing how I did this flip, this envelope flip, and how I did this envelope flip as well. And maybe we can start covering it as well and decorating it. But I'm going to stop it there for this one. I hope you found that easy enough to follow. I hope I explained it okay. I tried my best to keep it in camera shot, but because it's so big it wasn't easy. I hope you managed to see it all. And can't wait to see what you all come out with. Please do leave me a comment if there was any problems with it at all, so that I know for future videos where I'm going wrong if possible, because I would like to continue doing these type of videos and it's a learning curve for me. So if you have any advice on anything that I'm doing wrong or you think I could improve on, please do let me know. So yeah, I'll leave it for there, and then I will come do another video showing you how I did those envelope flips. So thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Bye.